From duty to freedom, enjoying life after responsibilities. There comes a moment not marked by fireworks or applause, but by stillness, when you realize you've done your part. You carried the weight. You showed up when you didn't feel like it. You put others first. You sacrificed. You held it all together. And now here you are, standing at the edge of a new season, a season not defined by duty, but by freedom, a season where your time, energy, and heart finally belong to you. But here's the truth. Many people don't know what to do when they reach this point. After years, maybe decades of putting others first, they've forgotten how to put themselves back into the center of their own life. They sit in a quiet house and feel guilty for the silence. They wake up with no one calling their name, and instead of joy, they feel loss. They have free time and don't know how to use it, because for so long their worth was tied to what they did for others. But I want you to hear this. Your freedom is not a void. It's a gift, and you've earned it. This is not the end of your story. It's the beginning of a more joyful, more peaceful, more authentic chapter. The time of duty shaped you. It taught you resilience, patience, endurance. But freedom invites you to rediscover your essence. So let's talk about that. 1, let go of guilt. The very first step in embracing life after responsibility is releasing guilt. You're not selfish for choosing rest. You're not irresponsible for choosing joy. You're not abandoning anyone when you choose yourself. You've done what was required. You've served, led, nurtured, worked. Now you're being asked to lead again, but this time the one you're leading is you. 2, reconnect with who you are. Ask yourself, what brings me joy now? Not what made you happy 20 years ago. Not what society tells you is fun. Not what your family thinks is worthwhile. What does your soul crave? It could be something as simple as sitting with a book under a tree, taking dance lessons, painting, gardening, learning a new language, volunteering, not out of obligation, but from pure passion. This is the part of life where you don't have to do anything. You get to do what lights you up. 3, rewrite the definition of success. Success in this season isn't about productivity. It's about peace. It's not measured by how many things you check off a list. It's about how deeply you feel laughter, ease, wonder. If you've spent years waking up for others, it might feel strange to wake up for yourself. That's okay. Strange isn't bad. It's just unfamiliar. In time, joy will become your new normal. So go slow, breathe deep. Let your heart catch up to your freedom. 4, surround yourself with energy that matches your new life. One of the most powerful things you can do in your freedom season is protect your peace. Not everyone will understand your shift. Some people may still expect you to play the role you've outgrown. That's not your burden anymore. Spend time with people who don't drain you, who don't need you to shrink or serve, but who see and celebrate who you're becoming. Freedom is not just about doing what you want. It's also about releasing what no longer fits. 5, give yourself permission to be happy without a reason. You don't need a reason to smile. You don't need permission to be lighthearted. You don't need to explain why you've changed. This is your reward. This is your harvest. And when you've planted seeds of love, service, and strength for years, you're allowed to now gather joy with both hands. There's a quote I love that says, "The best part of life starts after the responsibilities end, when the soul gets to breathe." This is that breath. And don't let anyone tell you that life is winding down. No, life is finally beginning to open up. You're not disappearing, you're reappearing. Not fading, but evolving. Not retiring from life, but finally entering it fully. So whether you are 40, 60, or 75, if you feel the whisper inside you saying, "There's more," that whisper is right. There is more. More fun, more freedom, more expression, more you. So take the trip. Say yes to joy, say no without apology, laugh loudly, love wildly. Wake up every day not with a list of duties, but with a heart full of gratitude and a soul excited for the next adventure. Because this isn't the end. This is your renaissance, your second act, on liberation. And you don't owe anyone an explanation for living free.
Let go of guilt. Let go of the heaviness that tells you rest is laziness, that joy must be earned, that peace is selfish, because it isn't. You have carried burdens, some visible, others no one even knew you were holding. You showed up when you were exhausted. You smiled when your heart was breaking. You worked not just jobs, but emotional shifts, care shifts, survival shifts. Long after the clock stopped ticking, and now life is offering you something different. It's whispering, you can rest now, but guilt stands at the door, questioning your worth without the weight. That guilt, it didn't come from you. It was passed down, built into systems that told you your value lives in what you do for others, not in who you are. It came from a world that glorifies burnout and busyness and measures love by sacrifice. It came from voices that praised you more for enduring pain than embracing joy. It's no wonder you hesitate now. It's no wonder you feel strange when there's nothing urgent to do, no one asking for you, no fire to put out. But hear this, peace doesn't mean you've abandoned your purpose. Joy doesn't mean you've forgotten those you've loved and cared for. Rest doesn't mean you've stopped contributing. It simply means you're finally honoring yourself. And that is not selfish, that is sacred. We spend so much of our lives proving we're enough, proving we're capable, dependable, strong. We say yes, even when we're tired. We show up, even when we have nothing left to give. And after all that, when life grants us a window to slow down, to breathe, to choose softness, we feel shame instead of relief. That's not your burden to keep carrying. Guilt is not a badge of honor, and you don't need to keep earning your right to be human. You've done the work. You've been the support, the helper, the giver, the doer. You've lived a life where other people's needs came before your own because it was necessary, because you were strong, because you loved them. But the world needs more examples of people who are also strong enough to choose themselves when the time comes. Letting go of guilt means allowing yourself to enjoy this season without needing to justify it. You don't need a list of accomplishments to rest. You don't need to prove your pain to laugh. You don't need to be useful to be worthy. It's okay if the first few mornings feel strange, if your hands twitch toward busyness, if your heart still scans the room for someone to serve. It's okay if it takes time to feel comfortable in peace. That doesn't mean you're ungrateful, it means you're healing. There will be moments when your inner voice still echoes old programming. You should be doing something. When that voice comes, I want you to answer it with compassion. Say, I've already done so much. Now I am doing something else. I am being, I am breathing, I am living in my own rhythm. The truth is, joy is a form of service too. Your peace gives others permission to find their own. Your ease tells someone else, you don't have to burn out to be enough. Your rest becomes an example, a legacy of healing, not just endurance. There is no prize for suffering the longest, and there is no shame in walking away from the struggle when it's no longer yours to carry. You're allowed to sleep in, you're allowed to take up space, you're allowed to laugh loudly, dance freely, speak slowly. You're allowed to savor your life, all of it. And when that guilt shows up, because it will, like an old friend who doesn't know it's no longer welcome, meet it with grace. Say, I see you, I know why you're here, but I no longer need you to feel valuable. You are not abandoning anyone by choosing peace. You are not disappearing. You are returning to yourself, to the part of you that existed before the roles, before the responsibilities, before the noise, the part that just is worthy, whole, radiant, free. Let go of guilt. Let it fall off your shoulders like an old coat that no longer fits. Walk into this next season lighter, softer, more alive. You've earned this, all of it. And you don't need to explain your joy to anyone. Not anymore. For so long, your identity may have been wrapped up in roles: parent, provider, caretaker, leader, problem solver. And you wore those titles with strength and grace. You became what others needed. You adapted. You gave. You sacrificed. Commercial. But now the space is yours. The hours are open. The mirror is asking not who you were for others, but who you are for yourself. And that question might feel overwhelming at first, especially if you've spent years prioritizing everyone else's needs over your own. But listen closely. Beneath the layers of responsibility, beneath the years of routine, your true self is still there. Maybe she's been quiet. Maybe he's been patient, but they haven't disappeared. They've just been waiting for an invitation to come back. So let's ask gently, what makes you happy now? Not what used to make you happy, not what others think should make you happy, but what makes your spirit light up today? Maybe your joy doesn't look like anyone else's. Maybe it's sipping tea on the porch at sunrise. Maybe it's learning a new language, painting on the weekends, traveling alone, cooking without a recipe. Maybe it's long walks without a destination, or sitting silently under a tree doing absolutely nothing. You don't need to justify what brings you peace. You just need to listen to it. Because you are not the same person you were 20 years ago. You've grown, you've seen things, you've carried pain, love, loss, hope. All of it has reshaped you. And you deserve the freedom to rediscover who you are without the weight of obligation. You might realize that some things you used to love don't fit anymore, and that's okay. You're not obligated to stay the same. Growth doesn't mean you've lost yourself. It means you're becoming more of who you've always been beneath the noise. Reconnect with the version of you that exists outside of responsibility, the version that doesn't have to earn rest, perform strength, or explain joy. That's the real you. That's the one who was always there before the world got loud. Sometimes we confuse who we are with who we've had to be. But now you don't have to become anything for anyone. You get to return to yourself. And maybe for years, your dreams were on hold because you were doing what had to be done. And that's noble, that's powerful. But now is the time to pick those dreams back up, dust them off, and ask, do you still belong to me? If the answer is yes, chase them with fresh courage. If the answer is no, give yourself permission to build new ones. Don't be afraid to experiment. Try new things, fail at something, begin again. This season isn't about perfection. It's about exploration. It's about curiosity. It's about joy without pressure. You are not too old. It's not too late. You haven't missed your moment. Your moment is now. You deserve a life that isn't just about getting through the day. You deserve a life that inspires you to wake up with wonder, one that reflects your heart, your voice, your desires, not just your duties. This chapter is about becoming a friend to yourself again, tuning into what you want to feel, taste, see, and experience. It's about asking what excites me and being brave enough to follow that answer, even if it surprises people, even if it challenges what others expect of you, because the opinions of others are nowhere near as important as the voice inside your own soul saying, this feels right, this feels like me. Reconnect with the music you love, the foods that comfort you, the books that move you. Revisit childhood joys, the things that made you feel alive before life got complicated. Linger in the spaces that feel like home to your soul. And don't be afraid of quiet. Sometimes in silence, the deepest parts of you begin to speak again, and what they say may change everything. This is the time to take yourself seriously, not in the heavy way, but in the sacred way. Your feelings matter. Your joy matters. Your dreams, no matter how small or new, matter. You are allowed to shift, to evolve, to become someone softer, stronger, freer than you've ever been. The journey back to yourself is not a detour. It's the destination. You're not lost, you're unfolding. You are not empty, you're available. You are not finished, you're just getting started. And the most beautiful part, the world hasn't seen this version of you yet, but you will. And it starts by choosing yourself every single day. When you've carried the weight of responsibility for years, maybe decades, you begin to build a life around survival. You build relationships that needed you to be strong, selfless, available. You stay in places that asked you to shrink just to maintain the peace. You learn to endure, to hold back, to stay quiet for the sake of harmony. But now, this is your time. Your peace is no longer optional, it's sacred. Your energy is no longer something to be handed out to whoever asks. It's to be guarded, nurtured, and protected. Because not everyone is healthy for your soul. Not every environment honors your growth. And just because something was once good for you doesn't mean it still is. That includes relationships, that includes routines, that includes mindsets you've outgrown. Protecting your peace means getting honest about what still serves you and what doesn't. It means noticing how you feel after certain conversations. It means paying attention to the way your body tightens around certain people. It means acknowledging that your spirit was never meant to stay in spaces that drain the very life out of you. There is nothing noble about staying where you feel small. There is no reward for enduring what wounds you. The truth is, the version of you who existed in survival, she built some powerful walls, some necessary boundaries. He learned how to smile through discomfort. They knew how to carry on. But the version of you stepping into freedom, they need something else. They need space. They need nourishment. They need peace. You can love people and still walk away. You can forgive them and still protect your energy. You can understand someone's struggle and still choose not to sacrifice yourself for it anymore. Because here's what happens when you stop protecting your peace. Your energy gets scattered, your joy gets smaller, your light starts to dim, you start to forget who you are, you begin to perform again, people please again, abandon yourself again, and it's too high a price to pay. Freedom doesn't come from doing what you want. It comes from refusing to betray your own spirit just to keep things comfortable. Your inner peace, that quiet, steady, beautiful energy inside you is what makes everything else possible. It's the foundation of your joy, the root of your creativity, the guardrail for your purpose. Without it, you're constantly chasing calm in chaotic places, constantly managing damage that could have been avoided with one powerful word: no. And yes, saying no will feel uncomfortable at first. Yes, people may be surprised. Yes, some may call you selfish. But here's what I've learned. The people who truly love you, who want to see you whole, will respect your boundaries. They will celebrate your healing. They will not ask you to destroy yourself to stay close to them. Protecting your peace also means reimagining your spaces. What's in your home that brings you calm? What sounds, smells, and surroundings feed your spirit? Maybe it's soft music, open windows, books you love, time alone, nature, simplicity, silence, laughter that echoes in your chest and doesn't come with obligation. Your environment should be a reflection of your freedom, not your former struggle. Make it beautiful, make it soft, make it yours. Even your thoughts deserve boundaries. Every time a voice inside you says, you don't deserve this peace, talk back to it. Every time guilt knocks at your door, remind it that you've earned rest. Every time fear tells you to go back to the version of you who made everyone else comfortable, breathe, stand tall, and say, not anymore. Because this season of your life demands a different kind of strength. Not the strength to push through chaos, but the strength to protect your peace, to say no without guilt, to say yes with joy, to walk away not with bitterness, but with grace. It might mean leaving certain conversations unspoken. It might mean turning down invitations that don't align with your spirit. It might mean disappointing people who are only comfortable with your exhaustion. But it's okay. Every time you protect your peace, you teach the world how to treat you. Every time you protect your energy, you make room for people and opportunities that nourish you, not drain you. Because here's the truth. You cannot build a beautiful life in the middle of emotional chaos. You cannot bloom in soil that constantly strips you of your light. You cannot grow when you are constantly recovering from other people's mess. So honor yourself. If something makes you anxious, let it go. If someone makes you question your worth, step back. If somewhere feels suffocating, find your way out. You do not need to explain why your peace matters. You only need to believe that it does. And it does, more than ever. You don't need to explain your smile. You don't need permission to laugh. You don't need a reason to feel light, happy, or whole. Joy is not reward you earn after suffering long enough. It's not something you get only when everything is fixed, when everyone else is taken care of, when your work is finished and your worries are gone. That moment may never come. And yet, joy still can. We've been conditioned to believe joy must be justified, that we have to deserve it, that we can't fully lean into it unless everything around us is perfect and we're sure nobody else around us is struggling. But that's a lie that keeps us tired, apologetic, and always putting our own joy last on the list. The truth is, joy is your birthright, not earned, inherited, not granted by others, built into your being. Somewhere along the way, we became afraid to feel good for too long. We started looking over our shoulders whenever happiness showed up, as if it were a trick, as if feeling joy meant we were being irresponsible. We learned to downplay it, to keep it quiet, to make ourselves small when things were going well so we wouldn't upset anyone else. But let me tell you something, your joy is not a threat, it's not selfish, it's not insensitive, it's healing. Your joy doesn't take away from anyone else, it adds to the world. In fact, one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself and for others is live joyfully without guilt. Let joy be your normal, not your exception. Let it guide your days, not be squeezed in at the end of them. This is your time. You've done enough surviving. You've proven your strength. You've sacrificed, showed up, held it all together. Now you get to let go and feel good, not because everything's perfect, but because you've decided that your soul is worth delight too. You deserve to wake up and feel excited about the day. You deserve to laugh from your belly, not just from politeness. You deserve to dance in your living room just because the music moves you. You don't need a celebration. You don't need a reason. You are the reason. And if there's a voice inside you, that old familiar guilt, whispering, you're being too much, or you don't deserve this, or what will people think? Know this. That voice is not your truth. It's the echo of a world that wanted you exhausted, quiet, useful, but not fulfilled. Well, fulfillment is now your priority, not because everything's gone right, but because you've learned to choose joy anyway. And that choice, that's power. That's wisdom. That's maturity. That's healing. That's freedom. Joy doesn't have to be loud or flashy. Sometimes it's the quiet cup of coffee in the morning sun, the breeze through the window, the sound of your favorite song, the way your body feels when it finally relaxes into safety. It's the moment you stop trying to impress the world and just allow yourself to be happy in your own skin, in your own space with your own presence. It's letting your soul breathe, letting yourself enjoy without rushing, without earning, without apologizing, because you've spent enough time waiting for the perfect day, waiting for the right moment, waiting for everyone else to be okay first. But here's a radical truth. You don't have to wait anymore. You can smile in the middle of healing. You can laugh even while grieving. You can dance even when things are uncertain. Joy is not a denial of pain. It's a declaration that pain doesn't get the final word. So let yourself go there. Let yourself be light. Let yourself love life again. Wear what makes you feel beautiful. Speak what makes your heart warm. Try new things, even if you fail. Be silly, be bold, be spontaneous. You're not too old. You're not too late. You're not too broken. And that is still alive. And that is reason enough. This life was never meant to be just endured. It was meant to be enjoyed. And yes, that joy may look different for everyone, but your version is just as sacred. So embrace it, embrace the ease, embrace the laughter, embrace the quiet peace that settles into your chest when you finally give yourself permission to just feel good. Because you don't owe anyone an explanation for your happiness. You don't need to soften your smile to make others comfortable. You don't need a reason to enjoy this moment. You are the reason. And joy, it's always been waiting for you to believe that. So here you are, standing in a sacred space, a space not defined by demands, but by choice, a space where the weight has been lifted and your soul is finally free to breathe. You've given, you've loved, you've carried what needed carrying, and now it's time to live, not just exist, not just maintain, but to rise, to explore, to rediscover the fullness of who you are. This is your season of ease, of lightness, of joy that doesn't need explanation. Let peace be your new rhythm. Let happiness be your new standard. Let freedom be your new home. And if anyone asks why you're smiling, why you're glowing, why you seem lighter than ever before, just say, because I finally chose me. And that choice changed everything.